After the slap heard round the world, Jaden Smith, Will's son, tweeted, "And that's how we do it." And that is how we do. If us humans are good at one thing, it's transferring pain from ourselves to another. We make commitments to ourselves all the time, whether that's a commitment to serve others, to better ourselves, or whether that's a commitment to reaffirm the pain that we've experienced in our lives. In this case, we can look at Will himself talk about one of the most traumatic events that he's ever experienced in his life, a formative event for him.
Each of my siblings remembers that night in the bedroom. With me standing there in the doorway, I watched my father punch my mother so hard that she spit up blood. That moment, probably more than any other moment in my life, has defined who I am today.
As a child, not being able to do anything about that, that he has taken the opportunity to hit another man, talking about the woman in his life that he finds most important today. And really what he's doing is he's reaching back in time, trying to slap a father that's not there. When we don't deal with our pain, we transfer it forward. What happened behind those closed doors has now become our pain many years later. We have to acknowledge how important it is not to commit private crimes, crimes that we feel like are victimless or only affect ourselves or don't have anything to do with our neighbor. What happened at the Oscars proves that that is a lie, that it's a myth, that we can contain the pain that we experience behind closed doors. Watch the conversations that take place between August, Jada, and Will, and look at the amount of pain that Will is experiencing watching this unfold. First, let's hear from August, who talks about the relationship that he had with Jada.
I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership that they've spoken on several times, and it, not involving romanticism. Mm-hmm. He gave me his blessing, and I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her.
Notice how much pain Will is in here trying to reconcile the openness of their relationship with what the reality is.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Will and Jada had a different take on the matter when they spoke, slightly different take on the matter.
It's these kinds of things that create the world that we're in, and the idea of not communicating, not talking about it, not clearing the air, and just being as transparent.
So right there, many people criticize me for commenting on their open marriage, but she says it right here. The decisions that they make in this relationship create the world that we live in. This is the new reality. If we normalize open relationships and a lack of commitment, we're normalizing the pain that we inevitably will experience and be on the receiving end of when those don't work out. And they will not work out. Look at the pain that Will is in. Look at the pain that August is in, having devoted himself to somebody that he can't really have completely. The idea of this relativistic relationship does not work. So we also have a right to talk about the reality that we want to live in and the reality that we want to shape. And one that I want to live in is one where people don't go slap somebody on stage because they're in so much pain themselves.
So what happened, Jada?
Okay, so let's start with, I guess about 4.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was about 4 years ago. Started a friendship with August. And we actually became really, really good friends.
This is a friendship. This is a really, really good friendship. We deceive ourselves when we make a deal with the devil. It always costs us more than we bargained for.
when Og first came around, he was really sick.
He was really sick, yeah.
And the outpouring for him from our family was initially about his health.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of hard to hear, because Will, from his perspective, is saying this didn't start out as something that would become a real relationship for you. This started out as us wanting to help somebody.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over. You know?
We were over.
Will saying, to him, it was a period of time. He needed to figure out how to get healthy in his own space, and he's saying, it's interesting hearing him say it could be over, and her confirming absolutely it was over. Her justification for this new relationship was that in her mind, it needed to be completely over.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, I think from there, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement.
What I've noticed by watching interviews that Jada has given is that she's a master of spin, of twisting the truth just a little to make it sound like it's not such a big deal. Entanglement. And Will comments on this in a second, but it's not the first time she's done that. When asked about her open relationship, again, finding ways to spin it just a little. Will and I both can do whatever we want because we trust each other to do so. This does not mean we have an open relationship. This means we have a grown one. That was 9 years ago. We have a grown one. Look at where the relationship has gone now. He is obviously in a ton of pain. A ton of pain. There's now another guy on the side who's in pain, feeling like he lost the love of his life. These relationships are not grown. They're not more mature because there are more partners involved. That is a lie. It's a lie. But this is the same kind of thing that we see in the very beginning of the Bible. When we go back to Genesis, one of the first things that we see, the first conversations that we see happen between the serpent and Eve is this slight twisting of truth. What did God really say? And then this just a hint of a bending of the truth, just enough to make Eve say, well, no. And then now they're having a different conversation because the context, the genesis of the question asked has just a slight hint of untruth to it. It makes her response inevitably untrue unless she corrects completely, which she didn't. This is something that we see happening behind the curtain. This is one of the devil's greatest tricks, is helping us craft a language that just twists the truth enough.
One of the things that was kind of swirling in the press about you giving permission, which is, the only person that can give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. We were separated amicably.
Yeah.
Again, the pain that he's in. He's trying to be agreeable. He's on camera. He's watching her talk about how this was her doing, that Will had nothing to do with it. August had nothing to do with it. She wanted this, and she takes credit for it. And that's hard for him to hear.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
As far as what?
You and I decided we were going to take our space, and what happened?
Yeah, and then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship, absolutely.
With August, what do you feel like you were looking for?
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good.
And there you go. An open relationship isn't about a grown relationship. It's about the self. It's not about a relationship that's flourished to the point of selflessly caring for the other partner through thick and thin. It's about her own self-satisfaction. And this is the crux of it. Look how much pain he's in. Couldn't protect the woman in his life in his childhood. Can't hang on to the woman that he has devoted himself to, it's not working. It's not working. And it's because, at least from her mouth, she's looking for self-satisfaction, not for the satisfaction of will. The pain that he's in becomes ours. Jesus was asked, if a woman has had several husbands on earth, whose in heaven will she belong to? Jesus says that you're in error because you don't know the scripture or the power of God. At the resurrection, people will neither marry nor be given in marriage. They'll be like angels in heaven. What's he saying? Will we forget the relationships and the commitments that we've made here? Certainly not. The things that are built on eternal values here will continue on, will be memories and a part of the fabric of who we are in the next life. But what he's saying is that we will be a people fully devoted to God, and every neighbor that we meet will be a neighbor that we serve the same way we serve our closest kin or our spouse here. Christ did the hardest thing in the world, where on that cross, he put a stop to the pain, the anger, the shame, the contempt that was being directed towards him because he was calling people out of their cycles of pain. And then they nailed their own pain to that cross, and he stopped it. He didn't go slap somebody on a stage, he took it. He calls us to pick up our cross and do the same. That's a hard call. That's what we're called to as Christians, and that's why many people don't want to be Christians. Because we want a world where we can get revenge, where we can pay it forward. Now, the good news is we have a God who loves us, a God who can create something out of nothing. Before God instituted that first marriage between Adam and Eve, he breathed life into dust. And now we have all this. He breathed life into dust. How amazing that he could create all this through one breath in dust. We take credit for all of this, but look where it began. And then it began in relationship. If God could breathe life into dust and dust could become all this, can he not breathe life into the Smiths' relationship, into their life, into the past that has broken the will, into Chris Rock's life now as he tries to understand how he's a part of this whole thing? Absolutely. If God can breathe into dust and create all this, he can breathe life into your relationship, in your life, and the pain that's there too, and help you pick up your cross. And Jaden was right. As human beings, that's how we do. We pay pain forward. That's why Christianity is such a difficult and worthy call. Because the cross is how we do.